they accepted me readily. They hadn't had that many Afro-Americans in my area, so I think it was a plus that I was an Afro-American. I often was disappointed because they didn't want to know about my life. You know, they didn't want to know what I did in the U.S., you know, how I lived, the people I knew and things I did. They didn't ever want to know that. They wanted me to learn about them. And that pleased me because I was there to learn about them. But then I kind of found out why they didn't really ask. You have two classes, what I see, two classes of people in Nigeria. You have the poor and you have the rich. There is a very small, if any, middle class. Okay? So we're not saying rich people, they are rich. Okay? They're traveling to the U.S. I had one of my students was doing between the break, she was going to come to the U.S., just for, I had spent how many years trying to get there? Just doing the break, she's going to shoot into the U.S. and shoot back to be ready for the fall. I also had students doing the Easter break. She asked her father, could she go to London, doing the Easter break? Sure, you can go to London. You can go to London. You came back, just for a few days. So they are so well traveled, they don't need to know. They have gotten it firsthand. If they haven't been here, they have relatives who are already here. They have relatives who have been here. Because I found that the people who are educated, who travel, they are so well traveled. They have been everywhere. They have done so many things. It's just really fascinating to me to just know what is possible. The only problem I have is that they do have a very high literacy rate. Either you have it all, or you don't have it. Okay? However, when I talk to them about the literacy rate, they want to know, what do I mean by the literacy rate? Does that mean that you don't live like the rest? Is that what you mean by literacy rate? They said that in the north, where I was, many people didn't speak English, even though English was the national language. They spent a good bit of that time learning Arabic. Okay? They learned Arabic so they could learn to read the Quran, because the Quran was that holy scripture, and they lived and died by that. Okay? All right. So let's talk a little bit about the tribal loyalties. I think you know about the tribes in Africa. You have tribes. Sometimes when we say tribes, sometimes so much negative connotation attached to that word, it almost becomes a bad word. But there, when you look at it, it's not a bad word. Okay? There are people who, you have the three major tribes, the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausas. Okay? They kind of control things. There are other little tribes in there that have that say, but these are the big three, shall I say. Each one has its own characteristics, okay? And they tell me that you can't consider us all one people. We are different people. They have different languages, different cultures, different food habits, different. They are just different people who happen to be black. Okay? So you just can't think of Africans and think you were looking at one culture. Okay, it's just not that way. Now, there is a strong tribal loyalty. Okay? If there is a person who's going to employ somebody, if that person is in charge, you have two people, they're going to employ the person who's a member of that tribe. Well, we're going to do things like that here, so that's nothing new. There is discrimination there. Discrimination is really based right down tribal lines. Of course, we have discrimination here too, but to me, it's a different kind of discrimination. Instead of having one group wanting to suppress another or to overpower, not overpower, but to be in control of another group, I don't think that's the situation there. What they have, the reason you have this discrimination, I think is because it's group solidarity. They are a member of this group, they are proud of their group, okay, and Seldom do they let anybody in, and they don't let anybody out. So that's why you have this kind of discrimination. I don't think they're trying to put one group down, simply because each group has its own territory. If you don't like what's happening in the north, you can go back to the south where you're from. You can do your own thing. Okay? Let's look at religion. We still talk about the characteristics of the people. Let's look at the religion, what a part it plays in people's lives. You have three basic religious groups. You have, let's say in Nigeria, you have the Muslims. I think they say about 50% of the population would be Muslims. Nobody really knows, but that's the figures that you see in the literature. About 30% are Christians. Okay? And that other 20% would be persons who practice the various traditional religions. Okay? Sometimes they have to live together, but I don't think there's, particularly between the Christians and the Muslims, I don't think there's too much love lost between them. Okay? Now my university, I call it my university is in the north, and that's Muslim territory. In the north, perhaps about 80% of the population would be Muslims. So that means you have a lot of the cultural things are geared toward Muslim way of life. Food, I just love bacon. And it was 6 months before I could get a piece of bacon. I couldn't smell it. The Muslims just don't eat pork. You don't find it. I happened to find some in the supermarket that catered to expatriates. Okay? But at that, it was very, very expensive. Another way in the north where to show that the Muslim way of life is really in control is what happened to us during the Christmas holidays. You know, Christmas is a Christian holiday. And well, I'm accustomed, to me, getting ready for Christmas is better than Christmas. I really like to get ready for Christmas. But Christmas was creeping up, and I don't hear any songs. This is a Christian celebration. There was no decoration. It just really didn't seem like Christmas. I was wondering, what would I do? Everybody seems that there was not going to be any Christmas. But strangely enough, Muslims sent me Christmas cards. I got a lot of Christmas cards. I thought that was really, really nice. I didn't know if they felt sorry for me, or if they, was just being really generous.